It's the Riot Podcast, Monday, July 10th. I, Hudson, am back. Isaiah never left. Really, I mean, you had a bachelor party over the weekend, but you still did the show and everything.
I was still in every day, yep.
Here's a question for you. When you go to the airport, when you got a flight, how far ahead of time do you get to the airport? Do you plan on it?
At least an hour.
At least an hour.
That's usually my at least an hour.
And that's what's the longest ahead of time you'd ever go to the airport?
Did I've ever gotten there? Did ever I would go there?
Yeah, you ever would. You can envision getting there.
Like planning on it, maybe like an hour and a half, an hour 40.
Yeah.
I'm not going earlier than that.
Yeah.
For me, because I'm not a big stressor. I always make it. So
yeah.
I haven't had a time. I only had a couple times where I've called it close, where it's been kind of difficult. But also, you got to know the weekend, the time you're getting on the flight, what day it is, things like that. But I can't imagine getting that there earlier than like an hour 40.
Yeah.
For me.
2 hours is the absolute max I can picture getting there.
Yeah.
But listen to this. So this weekend or this past week, I was in Connecticut. It was we're going there for 4th of July. It's kind of a little makeshift family reunion. So me and like my wife went, and then we had some other family fly in as well. And one thing we do when we go to Connecticut for this family is that we don't rent a car because one is expensive, and two, like it's a family thing. So we're always hanging out together. They have enough seats in their car. So they just come pick us up, drop us off at the airport. Everybody gets along, whatever.
Yeah.
But they are the people we were staying with, super into being at the airport way, way early, which only affects when they take you back to the airport.
Yeah.
And it was one thing for us. Our flight was the return flight was in the afternoon. So they're always like, you got to get there at least 2 hours ahead of time because you just never know. You never know what it could be like. The line could be out the window.
2 hours
around the building. Yeah.
So much time.
But listen to this. So again, ours was in the afternoon on Friday. So not as big of a deal. One of the other people that was there had a 6 a.m. return flight. And these people are talking about dropping him off at like 3 a.m.
No chance.
I don't even think the airport's open at that time.
No shot.
At that hour.
You're dropping me off at 3 a.m. for a 6 a.m. flight.
Yeah, but they're like, you never know. These, they're parents. So like, you never know. You just have no idea. There could be a line that your eyes wouldn't be able to behold it because it could be so long. And if there's any time it's going to be at 3 a.m.
Yeah, apparently so.
So you got to get there.
See, I'm thinking like if it's a 6 a.m. flight, I'm getting there at like 4:45.
Yeah.
Like 4:45, and I'm feeling pretty confident that I'm going to get through and I'll be okay.
Yeah. No, I know, right, that it's different at different airports. Flying out of where I'm flying, it's usually not a big deal. Maybe if you're going like, I don't know what would be a real busy airport.
It just depends.
Yeah.
And I think the difference is as well is if you're familiar with the airport. Because there's been times where when I flew into Seattle, I was really confused because their airport's huge. You have to take a subway and do all these things inside of it. They have a shuttle you have to do. And so it's different if you're in an airport that you're not very comfortable with, or if it's a really big one and you aren't going to know how to navigate it as well, then maybe you need some more time. But if you've been in the airport a couple times, if it's like your home airport, you should know what you're doing.
Yeah, we've gone numerous times to this airport. We fly into Hartford to see this family, and it's never taken more than 15 minutes to get through the TSA line, and we know exactly where we're going. And so we just kind of post up at one of the restaurants there and spend way too much money killing time because they drop us off so early. But
yeah, you don't want to be there that early.
Just one of those things that you just kind of accept when you go visit family.
Yeah, I feel like as you get more experience flying, you should be taking less time in the TSA and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, I know people have kids. And it's a lot more stressful with kids and things like that too. For me, I'm by myself. I just fly through it.
Yeah.
It's just me. So
easy
it's easy
breezy.
money.
Cover girl.
Yeah, precisely. So for you, I'm sure it was you had plenty of time at least. At least you made it back. I'm glad that you made it back. If you didn't make it back, then I would be yelling
no
at
issues.
you.
We flew Breeze Airways, and I don't know if other airlines do this because I haven't flown on them in so long. But Breeze, if everybody gets through the TSA line, like they can track that, right? I'm assuming, anyways.
Yeah.
then they will start boarding the plane early.
Nice.
If the plane is there and they know that like people are available to be ready to go on, yeah, they'll start boarding it early.
Boarding up early.
We
nice.
made it early both times.
Oh, that's real
for our
nice.
flights. So yeah, actually not too bad.
Makes
not
for
too shabby.
Good reviews of Breeze.
That also means that all the Breeze passengers really punctual.
Oh, very punctual.
Yeah, punctual bunch we are.
Well, everybody got there early, so it makes sense.
I'm glad everybody hopefully had a great July 4th week, and we came back with a bang today in the show and in my return. Some good stuff for you. And I don't know if I have anything else to add.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Not used to talking this much. It's the Riot.
Add a little Riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Now, Isaiah just got back from Connecticut, of course.
Yes.
Flew both ways. And I had a thought about kids on airplanes. It's a thing that lots of people love to complain about, right? Children on airplanes.
Children in general.
Sure, children in general. People love to complain. And after my 2 flights this weekend, here's what I'm thinking. I think if you complain about kids on airplanes, you sound old.
You think so?
Yeah. You know what that is? It's a boomer complaint. I'll tell you why. Because if you go back in time, say, I don't know, 15, 20 years, when did people get phones?
Probably about 2000. I don't even know.
2009?
Yeah, that sounds about
2004?
right. I like that.
I don't know. If you go back to when we were children, maybe.
Yep.
We were probably obnoxious on a plane.
Of course.
I wouldn't want to be on a plane with 6-year-old me, but 6-year-old me didn't have an iPad. 6-year-old and 25-year-old and 40-year-old other people on the plane with 6-year-old me may not have had headphones. They may not have had a phone to pop in their AirPods. But now it's 2023, and on my 2 flights, I was on a budget airline, so it was like a third of the plane was kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one thing to pay $500 for yourself to fly, but you don't want to pay $500 for your 5-year-old to fly.
No chance.
You want to pay the least amount possible.
Put them in the little seat, you know?
Yeah.
They can be tighter. It's okay.
And you'll suffer along because you don't want to spend an extra, like, the amount. Anyways. So there's a lot of kids. And they were all quiet because they all had Paw Patrol on an iPad. And they weren't bothering anybody.
Oh, sounds like you had a good flight then.
It was a fine flight.
3 flights ago, I got a drink poured on me by a child. I don't have that same...
He didn't have an iPad?
I don't have that same thing that you're going through.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had a good flight.
Uh-huh.
But I don't have that same feeling about it, unfortunately. I think it's all about experience. If you have one bad experience, you can ruin it for a while.
Yeah. I think what you have a complaint about is the parents, not a child.
Well, I mean, that's the constant struggle, right? Whose fault is it? I don't have kids, so I'm going to put it on the child.
Yeah. I don't know. I looked out. I was literally on my flight home. I was at the back of the plane, and I just saw a plane full of children and not a single one making a noise. And if they were, I couldn't hear them because I had my AirPods in.
Of course, you have your own headphones.
So, I just thought it's so outdated. It's so yesteryear thinking to say that kids are a problem on planes.
See, but then you would say if there is one screaming on a plane, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Is it even worse?
It makes it even more egregious.
Yeah, I think so too.
More upsetting. But kids in general is not the problem. Specific children occasionally on a plane, but that can be any. I mean,
that's in any children's topic.
And
there's lots of good kids.
Adults as well.
Yeah, that's the truth too.
The stories you love with the opinions you hate. The Riot Radio U.
Some great video went viral over the weekend of a robbery gone horribly wrong in Atlanta. I have a guy, he was trying to hold up a nail salon. Interesting choice.
I was thinking the same thing. Wouldn't be my first place to rob, but at the same time, seems like an easy target.
I guess if we play this out, right? If we consider this man to be a criminal mastermind, which he clearly wasn't, but you could see the thought process of maybe you're thinking, I'm a man, I go to a nail salon, it's just probably going to be a bunch of women. I can intimidate them, right?
Maybe not much competition.
Right.
Like no one's going to stop you in there possibly, right?
Maybe you feel less, you expect less that there'd be some kind of big tough man that's going to stand up to you. But then again, there could be a woman with like pepper spray.
Yep, that's
and
true.
Boom, it's over. But that didn't even happen to this guy. This guy walks into a nail salon. He's shouting out, give me all your money, give me everything you got type stuff. Typical robber.
The go-tos.
Yeah, vernacular. And it appears that he has a gun. But both the customers and the employees, in something that feels like it would have to be premeditated, just all ignore him. Just
Don't
give
say
him
a word.
The cold shoulder. They barely acknowledge the guy.
Which, how is that even possible,
How could they all be on the same page? That they all just, that there wasn't one person that panicked and freaked out and got on the ground or started handing over money or whatever to say, please don't shoot.
It was here you go.
Not a single one. And there's several people in there. My favorite part, there's two great parts. He walks, there's a woman who's sitting by the door. She seems to be dressed in scrubs. I think she might be a nurse or whatever. And she, he walks in, he kind of walks towards the counter, and then he turns back around, and she's gotten up and standing by the door, and he kind of directly addresses her, and he's like, give me all your money. And she just kind of shrugs and walks out the door, and he does nothing. And then
he doesn't do a thing.
He doesn't do a thing. And then after a few more shouting out of, give me everything, you can see he kind of loses steam. And then he just kind of shrugs and walks out too.
See, I think his big issue was he's like pretending to have a gun, I think.
Yeah, that's what I think it is too. I think there's no confirmation that he had a gun.
Well, he has his hand in a bag.
Yeah.
He has his hand in a purse pretty much. And he never pulls or flashes the gun.
Mm-hmm.
He's just pretending to be holding something in the purse. And so I think that was his big mistake. Had he actually had a gun and pulled it out, I think that would have been more intimidating.
Well, yes,
but
clearly.
he looks like a crazy person with his hand in a purse just yelling. He looks like he's lost his mind.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that is a tactic that people will use. Sometimes they have a gun, sometimes they don't, but they'll conceal it that way to, for whatever reason. But in his case, yeah, he just seems like he was all bark and no bite and actually didn't have a gun. So when people didn't abide by his request.
He looks like he's like literally holding, like he makes it look like the purse is the gun that he's holding. Like he's literally like pretending to fire at people pretty much.
He's just really bad at it.
He's just throwing it in their faces. I don't know. It makes no sense. Nobody's intimidated. He also, I mean, the whole, by the end of the video too,
yeah,
you can just tell the defeat when he walks out.
Oh yeah. He just looks foolish, and he can tell. He just knew the best thing to do is just get out of there calmly.
What does he do now? He just walks home?
Yeah.
Then you just leave, and you're like, dang, I couldn't even rob the salon. Nobody was even scared enough to give me their money.
Uh-huh.
Like, what kind of a robber are you? What's your next plan?
What a blow to the ego there.
That is a huge blow to the ego.
Now he probably has no money, and he's really insecure.
Yeah.
If podcast awards were ever a thing, this show wouldn't win any. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Have you seen videos of people fake proposing going around on TikTok?
I have not.
You haven't seen, I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's a trend, although you follow if you follow TikTok via the news, anything that happens 3 times on TikTok is a trend.
Is a trend, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, multiple people have done this, and some of them fairly notable. The idea of a man and a woman, a relationship, and then the man will take an opportunity to get down on one knee, a la when Jim from The Office gets down on one knee to tie his shoe to fake Pam out.
Yes.
And they'll do this like over and over again routinely. I have one guy here. Are you familiar with Farmer Will from Love Island?
He's in the newest season.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it yet, but I have seen some TikToks of him on there.
Apparently for him.
Likeable character, apparently.
Apparently. But not when he fake proposes. He says anytime, for him, it's anytime he's out with his girlfriend and they get a stranger to take their picture.
Makes it way better.
Yeah, that is a great time. If you're going to fake propose, that's hilarious. And so that's what he's doing. And there's several other guys. And so the internet, TikTok, divided over whether this is funny or whether it's insensitive to the women in the equation. What say you?
I think it depends on your relationship with your gal. If you have a girl that you think can take the joke, then yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to know your girl, and if she's not going to be able to take that well, I wouldn't do it.
Well, when does it get old?
I would avoid that.
When does it get old, though?
Yet again, I think it depends on relationship to relationship. There's some girls that probably could take the joke every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some girls that the first time you do it, they're going to be so mad at you, you'll never recover.
You'll never be able to real propose.
So you got to know your girl. And so if you think that she can take it time after time after time, then you just keep on doing it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between she can take it and she likes it.
Well, that's not the point.
If you put your it is.
No, it's not.
You put yourself in a woman's shoes.
No, that's not how relationships work.
She's like, well, I really like you outside of the fake proposal joke. I don't think it's that funny, but I'll stay with you. Versus, that's actually pretty funny. You got me.
See, this is the difference between like ideal relationship and like realistic ones. Is when you're in a relationship, obviously you want to make your partner as happy as possible, but also a top 3 thing is making them a little bit upset. It's one of the more fun things when you can do it in a joking way. I think that's one of my favorites, actually.
I think this is a risky one.
Again, I think it depends on your girl.
As several people pointed out, it's not just will she take the joke, will she think it's funny time after time when you're doing it multiple times, but it's also if you do it time after time, then what if you want to do it for real one day and she's not going to believe it?
You better take a long break
that kind
between
of
them.
Ruins the real time you do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't fake it.
You want the real time to be special.
Yeah, you shouldn't fake it right before you're going to do it for real.
Yeah.
You can do this early on in a relationship where it's obvious that you aren't proposing, I think. But once you get to that point,
the ideal time to do it?
I think it is in the very beginning.
3 months in?
Yeah, because she obviously knows you're actually not proposing. But the joke is that the person who's taking your photo at the time is like, oh my gosh, they have no idea that this isn't the real one. I think that's funnier. I think when you're at a point where you actually could be proposing, it's not funny to joke about.
That's a good line.
I think that's dangerous.
If there's any chance the receiving end of the proposal could take it seriously, don't fake it.
But it's all for the person who's taking that photo. Nothing better.
Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
I just got back from Connecticut. That's where I went for the 4th of July trip to New England. It was a family vacation, like to visit family there. So to sum up the trip, we didn't do a whole lot of super exciting stuff. 4th of July was kind of, I wouldn't say low key, but we all, we just grilled out, ate well, whatever.
Relaxed, yep.
So I ate well throughout the trip. What else? What interesting happened? I went fishing.
Did you catch a fish?
I did. I caught a fish.
Do you have a photo of it?
I think I might have some photos.
Is it your profile picture on any social media?
No, it is not.
I didn't know for sure.
I haven't updated my social media for a while, but actually maybe that'd be impressive, you think?
I think so.
You think
Make me happy.
Yeah. I don't know if fishing is for me.
You didn't like it?
Yeah, I just don't think I enjoy prying a hook out of a live fish's mouth.
That is the worst part.
That's not something that really
getting the hook out of it.
It's not worth the rest of it to me.
Did you do it?
I did it.
Yeah.
I just don't think I did it multiple times. Actually, I caught a couple fish. I just don't think and forget about putting a worm on a hook. Also, not something that I particularly call me. Weak.
That's a little bit satisfying for me. Putting the worm on the hook.
You like that part?
There's something about just like puncturing the worm that sounds weird and kind of in a mean way, but there's something satisfying about like folding it over and putting it on there. I don't know. I like that part.
You enjoy that?
That was one of my that's one of my highlights of fishing.
So you're good with that. You don't
catch the fish.
You don't like pulling the hook out of the fish's mouth?
No chance.
Now, where do you stand on ripping the worms in half so you have more worms?
I'm fine with that.
You're good with that too.
Usually, I like to put a full one on there. Though.
Oh no!
And I usually, if I'm going to be doing it, I want to come strapped with worms so I can put full ones on there and I can really fold them up. Yet again, more satisfying.
You're crushing the worm population.
That's how it is.
The way you're doing it. So yeah, I don't know if that is something that I will go back to anytime soon as far as the fishing is concerned. But the highlight of the trip, absolutely going to the beach. I got to go to the beach for a while.
That exciting?
Which I did. I had a good time there, but it leads me to my question. Where do you stand? And I want everybody to chime in at 8772 Radio U. When you have a beach day, where do you stand on bringing a Bluetooth to the beach?
A speaker?
Yeah.
You can bring a speaker.
You think that's okay?
Yep.
Because here's what happened to me. Searching for a spot on the beach. The options were, I mean, basically we either could be near somebody playing Hakuna Matata on their Bluetooth.
Yes.
One choice, not offensive. Or like, how do I put it? Like graphic, we're getting it on music.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Setting the mood at the beach.
Yeah, but like with a lot of, I mean.
Expletives, just like aggressive
like
music.
really graphically explaining what's going to happen.
Not like relaxing music.
No.
Not at all. Not like
Not
laying
what
by
I would
the beach.
consider that way.
Got it.
And so those two were kind of competing in a way. And then third group comes along and beats them all by going much louder with every Taylor Swift song imaginable.
I knew it.
Yep.
So obnoxious they are nowadays.
They won it out. Although between the three,
Have we not heard it enough?
I was definitely in on compared to the three. Now,
Yeah.
I brought my own Bluetooth, but there has to be, I feel like there needs to be rules, because what happens is either you have this where everybody's competing and turning up their Bluetooth as loud as it will go because you brought it, and so you want to listen to your music.
Yep.
But then the other person's drowning out your music, so it just turns into a competition. But then if you don't bring a Bluetooth at all, then you're just at the mercy of everybody else, and you don't want that. So, or just sit there in silence, which some people would enjoy. I'd probably prefer that over 4 different types of music that none of them I would choose. So I don't know. I just feel like we need some rules. We need some kind of boundaries.
Usually for me, it's like if you got to read the room of like who's surrounding you. And so when you're picking the music to play on your speaker, you need to look around you to see who's around.
Yeah.
To see like what could be appropriate things to play.
Oh, so are you saying that the person with the getting it on music was trying to send a message?
I think that they should have read the room better.
Yeah.
It seems as if they did not read the room. They looked over at you. Maybe that's what they thought that you would want them to play.
That's what I wanted to hear, yeah. How did they know?
Usually you would read the room, see if there's children around. If it's mainly adults, maybe we don't play Hakuna Matata. I don't know. I feel like I think the way you point your speaker matters.
Yeah.
I think that if you have like a huge, big speaker, then number one, you need to turn it down. You can't be doing full volume at the beach. That's crazy talk. It just needs to be loud enough.
That's what Taylor Swift crew is doing.
Yeah, it needs to be loud enough.
They thought, who could possibly not want to listen to this?
Yeah, exactly, which is never the case.
Yeah.
There's always a large group of people that don't like your music. So what you need to do is have it loud enough to where your people can hear it, point it only at your group, whatever direction makes the most sense for just you all to be able to hear it. And then also make sure that the music you're playing seems appropriate for all audiences surrounding.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is don't blare the volume.
Yeah. You can always blare RadioU, though, and that's not going to make anybody upset.
100%. All the way up.
Wasn't that a great Riot clip? While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.